First at noon, we are tracking Hurricane Kiko, which has strengthened into a Category 4 storm in the eastern Pacific. You can see from this live satellite image that it has intensified and is more organized as it moves closer to the islands. Now, there's still a lot of uncertainty with this system, and its potential impacts to us at this time are still unclear. Meteorologist Drew Davis joins us now with the latest information on Hurricane Kiko. Drew.
Aloha, Ashley. Of course, there's still a lot of uncertainty with this storm. I do want to point out again on that satellite imagery, you can see this is a very strong storm, Category 4. When we see strong storms like this, you see a very clear eye out there. Of course, this is over the last 12 hours. You can see the system starting to get its act together, intensifying out of a Category 2 to a Category 3 and then to a Category 4 storm. It is very strong out there. Let's take the latest look at the track from the National Hurricane Center going forward. Category 4 storm over the next couple of days. As we go into Thursday, this is around 5 p.m. on Thursday, still a Category 4, weakening to a Category 3 as it moves into cooler waters in the central Pacific Ocean, and then starting to move closer to the island chain. This is around Monday, still expecting it to be around a Category 1 by the time it's just east of the island chain. Of course, those cooler waters are going to cause this storm to weaken ever so slightly, and you can see a lot of the long-range models are starting to agree on that northward turn close to the island chain, several of them bringing it north of Hawaii Island and closer to Maui County. So still a lot of uncertainty. I'll give you a further breakdown of what you can expect coming up.
Thank you, Drew. A 24-year-old woman is recovering after she was shot in the Ewa Beach area, and the gunman is dead. It happened just after 8 last night in a parking lot in the Kapilina Beach Homes neighborhood. Police tell us the victim and a 31-year-old man were in a fight before he used a long gun to shoot her multiple times. She was able to run away and was later rushed to the hospital in serious condition. The suspect was later found in his vehicle, dead with an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. We also know the suspect and the victim knew each other before the incident. A terroristic threatening charge has now been filed against a 42-year-old man who says he's a Customs and Border Patrol agent. Now, police say Jim Buvais was in an argument with a 33-year-old woman on Monday morning in Kapolei. He allegedly threatened to shoot the woman and showed a gun. HPD says Buvais showed credentials to officers, but he was still taken into custody. His bail has been set at $50,000. New at noon, after 41 years, the Great Aloha Run has officially crossed its final finish line. Organizers say the decision to bring the beloved local tradition to a close comes as founder Carol Kai Onoe steps into full retirement. Since its inception in 1985, the 8.15-mile race has attracted about 750,000 runners from all over the state and the world and has helped raise nearly $20 million for 200 local charities. President Trump has expanded his list of cities he claims are crime-ridden and in need of federal help. This comes as lawmakers are looking to extend the presence of National Guard troops in the nation's capital. Tarian Small has more details from the White House.
President Trump says he's preparing to launch National Guard troops to help combat crime in yet another Democratic-led city.
We're going to be going to maybe Louisiana, and you have New Orleans, which has a crime problem. We'll straighten that out in about 2 weeks. It'll take us 2 weeks, easier than D.C.
The president is already deployed to D.C. and has threatened other cities, including Baltimore and Chicago.
We could straighten out Chicago. All they have to do is ask us.
If this president wants to help us reduce crime, we'll work with him. But this notion that he is going to invade Chicago, put military checkpoints in that city, for God's sake, that's just an outrage.
Illinois Senator Dick Durbin says the president is playing politics.
He's ignoring states with Republican leadership where crime is even worse. Texas, Tennessee, Arkansas. I mean, I go through the long list of them.
Congress is now working on legislation that would extend the president's order federalizing the D.C. police force through the end of the year.
Ultimately, the responsibility should be at the mayor and city council level. But if they're not going to do the job, particularly in the nation's capital, we will.
D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser said the takeover does not need to go beyond the original 30-day timeline.
We have a framework to request or use federal resources in our city, we don't need a presidential emergency.
Bowser announced a 13% pay hike for Metropolitan Police in order to recruit more officers. Torian Small, CBS News, the White House.
Meanwhile, accusers of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell gathered on Capitol Hill today to push for all the Epstein files to be released beyond what the Justice Department has made public so far. Natalie Brand has more from Washington.
For so many years, it felt like Epstein's criminal behavior was an open secret.
One by one, women who say they were victimized and abused by Jeffrey Epstein shared their stories, some for the first time publicly.
I was one of dozens of girls that I personally know who were forced into Jeffrey's mansion.
The survivor stood alongside Republican Congressman Thomas Massie of Kentucky and Democratic Representative Ro Khanna of California, who are trying to force a vote requiring that the Justice Department turn over all files related to the case within 30 days. House Democrats, along with a handful of Republicans, are supporting the effort, including Marjorie Taylor Greene.
We are going to fight like hell for these women because we have to fight like hell for those that are enduring sexual abuse and are living in a prison of shame.
President Trump, who was friends with Epstein before a falling out, once again called the push for more information a Democrat hoax.
Thousands of pages of documents have been given, but it's really a Democrat hoax because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation since I've been president.
This is not a hoax. We are real human beings.
The House Oversight Committee, which had subpoenaed the DOJ for Epstein records on Tuesday, released more than 33,000 pages it's obtained so far. But Congressman Khanna says that's just a fraction of what's in the files, and most of what they've received has already been made public. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Here at home, a gender identity policy at a private school on Maui is now at the center of two new lawsuits. A former student and worker argue the rule is discriminatory and illegal, but as our Derek Kravitsky reports, the school is denying their claims.
The new rule that went into effect last month at Maui Preparatory Academy states that biological sex assigned at birth will determine students' participation in athletics, overnight stays, and access to facilities such as bathrooms and locker rooms. Parents of a 9-year-old boy who identifies as female filed a lawsuit on Tuesday, saying the policy is discriminatory.
Honestly, it feels awful. I don't think any 9-year-old child should have to be told, well, we have to pull you out of school because the school is going to be discriminating against you.
Due to privacy concerns, the suit does not name the student or their parents.
For the school to enact a policy like this, it's been profoundly painful for the family.
It's disgusting, especially here in the Aloha State, and to find out that this child being used as a political pawn by discrimination and bigotry is just, it's unacceptable.
Former Maui Prep Director of College Counseling, Keenan Reeder, who worked at MPA for 20 years, is also suing.
I was quite shocked in disbelief about how I might provide for my family as we continue to recover from the Lahaina wildfire.
Seeking unspecified damages, he claims he was wrongfully terminated after voicing opposition to the rule, claiming it violated a Hawaii law prohibiting schools that get state funds from discriminating based on gender identity and expression.
My beliefs are always student-driven and what's in the best interest of children. However, in this case, I would say I was also driven by concerns of what this policy may do for the community in terms of division and separation.
Reeder joins two other fired staff members, trustee Flo Wigger and teacher Vashti Days, who also claimed they were let go for pushing back against the transgender policy. Meanwhile, Republican State Representative Elijah Purick argues that because Maui Prep is a private school, its administration has the right to make its own rules.
If the policy is boys should be in boy bathrooms, boys should be in boy sports, and it's the same for girls, I totally support that. If parents don't want to go to that private school, they don't have to. If they don't want to go to that public school, they shouldn't have to.
School administrators declined an interview, but in a statement, they strongly denied any allegations of discrimination or retaliation and denied any liability for these claims. Derek Kravitsky, Hawaii News Now.
After an executive ousting and shakeup at the Hawaii Tourism Authority that led to an entirely new board, the HTA now has a new chief administrative officer. The agency announced David Uchiyama as the new CAO. Uchiyama is the former vice president of HTA and former CEO of Island Air. He takes over for Isaac Choi, who went on unpaid leave in May following hostile workplace accusations. Choi is suing HTA, claiming the agency shared his controversial comments about coworkers to push him out because he discovered improper spending.
I'm Anna Corin at the military parade in Beijing, where Chinese President Xi Jinping is challenging the US-led world order. We'll tell you who's supporting him next on the CBS Evening News.
Also ahead on This Is Now, as Hawaii faces a shortage of qualified healthcare professionals, a new program in IAEA is helping to boost the workforce. Turning overseas to a massive military parade in China's capital city, witnessed by some of America's most powerful adversaries. China's leader welcomed Russia's president and North Korea's dictator to the strategic spectacle. Anna Corin reports from Beijing.
With the sound of cannons firing across Tiananmen Square, soldiers from the People's Liberation Army goose-stepped in perfect unison, moving as one. This was part of the largest military parade ever to be held in China, marking the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II. Overseeing his troops under a blazing sun, China's President Xi Jinping. Greetings, comrades. You are working hard, he told them. And then it was the unveiling of Beijing's new military hardware. Nuclear-armed missiles with potential global reach, hypersonic weapons, autonomous underwater drones, and laser air defense systems. But this spectacle was more than just commemorating the war dead. It was an opportunity for Xi to take centre stage, flanked by his powerful allies and neighbours, Russia's President Vladimir Putin and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
The deepening ties between China, Russia and North Korea would certainly have some in Washington concerned.
During his speech, Xi called upon the People's Liberation Army to accelerate its development into a world-class military and, quote, resolutely safeguard national sovereignty, unity and territorial integrity. A demonstration of might and capability that has the potential to back up Xi's vision of a new world order.
Anna Corin, CBS News, Beijing.
Here at home, the Academy for Healthcare Innovation is training the next generation of healthcare professionals. Casey Lund went to IAEA to check it out.
Aloha from IAEA, the Academy for Healthcare Innovation. We have a lot to talk about. We've already been showing you around on Sunrise earlier today. This really started earlier in June, just this summer, already seeing students work through these programs, find really promising careers, good paying jobs in the healthcare industry, which needs qualified candidates here in Hawaii. I want to introduce Anthony Jordan there with us working through a program, and Tammy Nagayama. She is the Surgical Instrument Processing Technician Instructor.
Correct.
That's a big title for the Academy for Healthcare Innovation. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
I want to talk a little bit about your course and what you teach here, what those surgical processing technicians really do as well.
So we provide safe quality care to our patients. We clean, inspect, and prepare instruments for surgical procedures.
Which a lot goes into that. I know that from experience. And talk to me a little bit about what we have, just kind of show and tell here on the table.
Sure. So we have some surgical instruments. These belong to a orthopedic surgery. So we do have a mallet, retractors, and as you can tell, like a normal pair of pliers.
Yeah, the crucialness of making sure that these are sterile and clean before they go into surgery is a matter of life and death.
Yes, correct. It is very important to make sure that these instruments are clean and very sterile.
Yeah, okay, so I want to talk about the program. We've already talked about nurse aides. We've talked about, oh yeah, and they're going to kind of do a little show and tell as they get ready, because you have to kind of bake these too. There's a lot that goes into
yes,
this, right?
Yes. So this blue wrap actually protects the instruments before and after sterilization.
Yeah. And then, yeah, so let's talk a little bit while Anthony and Jordan are doing that about the course. 32 weeks for your guys'. Talk to me a little bit about tuition, and then how folks are making it through this course. I know that a lot of these are sponsored by healthcare providers that are looking for candidates, right?
Correct, yeah. So our program, like you said, is 32 weeks. It consists of classroom learning, both online and in person, hands-on training as well. These students will also have to do 400 hours of clinical time, which means they will be going out to healthcare facilities to get this 400 hours, which will get them a little bit closer to getting certified.
Yeah, and then I don't think they're going to have any problem finding work here in Hawaii, right?
No,
you
they
see
will
the smile
not.
on your face.
Yes.
Yeah. How can folks learn more if they want to find out, or maybe even before they jump in and get into a course, come talk to you. You guys are pretty open here.
Correct. And
yeah.
You can go to ahihawaii.org.
Very good. Tammy Nagayama with us. We want to thank Jordan and Anthony as well. All the details, if you're interested in this, if you maybe not happy in the career you're in, you want to look into the healthcare field, a lot of opportunities and a lot of promise and really good training here at the Academy for Healthcare Innovation in IAEA. We'll send things back into the studio for now.
Hey, thanks, Casey. Stick around. Coming up after the break, we'll have another look at the tropical outlook for Hurricane Kiko and the latest track from the National Hurricane Center.
Alert Weather with Drew Davis.
All right, well, happy Wednesday, everybody. We're about a week away from Hurricane Kiko making impacts here in the island chain, but still a lot of uncertainty out there. Let's take a quick look at the latest track from the National Hurricane Center. You can see right now it's a Category 4 storm out in the eastern Pacific Ocean. This storm is going to continue moving off towards the west and northwest over the next several days. You can see as we're going into this afternoon, still a Category 4, continuing to move westward around Thursday afternoon, still a Category 4, but starting to weaken as it gets into the central Pacific, a Category 3, then slowly after that a Category 2 and a Category 1 storm. Of course, this is going to evolve. There's still a lot of uncertainty where Kiko goes past this point. We're going to start to see impacts on Tuesday and Wednesday if it does make its way close to the island chain. There's still a lot of uncertainty with Hurricane Kiko. We've been talking about this, especially when it comes to the intensity of this storm out there. Just taking a look at some of the long-range models, they're starting to agree on that northward turn. High variability closer to the state. You can see a lot of agreement with the starting to see that northward turn because of low pressure developing to the north of the island chain. But you can see there's like a 400-mile spread right here when it gets closer to the Big Island. So still a lot of uncertainty. We're not even in the cone of uncertainty that the National Hurricane Center puts out. Sea surface temperatures out there, you can see the departure from normal. You may be wondering one of the reasons why this system is expected to weaken. It's because of the cooler than average waters out there. See, it's a Category 4, moves into that cold pool and then falls apart, gets to a Category 3, then Category 2, and a Category 1 by the time it gets closer to the island chain. And you can also see, this is just a look at the upper level or the mid-level pressure in the atmosphere. You can see we've got low pressure well to our north. It's going to start dipping down as we're going into Thursday and Friday. This kind of cutoff low that we're expecting right here is actually the reason Kiko is going to start moving northward. It may actually, we're going to have to watch this system very closely to see how strong it gets because it may pull Kiko even further northward out there. Take this model run with a grain of salt. You can see this is just one out of many. This is the European model run on a more southward track than some of the other models. You can see the system impacting the Big Island as we're going into Tuesday evening, early Wednesday morning. This particular model run doesn't bring that much rainfall for the rest of the state, but some other model runs have remnant rainfall for Maui County, Oahu, and Kauai going forward. Breaking down the overall weather pattern, you can see on our first alert VOG forecast, still after episode 32 of the eruption over at Kilauea, seeing some slight VOG out there. And then here's a quick look at our surf and shoreline forecast. Northwest and south-facing shores all on the decline. East-facing shores a little bit bumpy out there for this afternoon. Here's your 7-day forecast going forward. Mahalo to Mike for that wonderful background photo. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, lots of sunshine out there. Of course, we're watching next week with Hurricane Kiko.
Turning heartbreak into hope. I'm Tina Kraus with the Big Hearted Builders, transforming a family's future.
time for today's good news. A remarkable story of generosity from across the pond, with strangers stepping in to help a family facing unimaginable heartbreak.
Tina Kraus has the story.
These builders are teaming up to transform a home in England, not for a paycheck, but a purpose. Volunteering their time, tools, and talent to a family in need of a fresh start.
Everybody wanted to help each other and just do a great job for little Toby.
Toby Fletcher is 16 with quadriplegic cerebral palsy, dystonia, and he's deaf. His mom, Sarah, had to carry him up and down the stairs each day until the band of builders stepped in to take a load off the mother of 6. 150 tradesmen and women from across the UK spent 12 days turning the Fletcher home into a safer, more comfortable space.
They will have a much better life with the way the property is now. Much better life.
This is Toby's new ground floor bedroom, a superhero-themed sanctuary just for him.
This is amazing. It's better than I could have imagined. Just lifting him on to his bed is a big difference from carrying him from downstairs to upstairs.
It's more than a renovation. It fulfills the dream of Toby's dad, Sean, an electrician who wanted to make life easier for his son.
Toby would always smile. He'd always have a smile for his dad. Yeah. You saw a lot of your dad, didn't you?
Sarah says her husband loved his family and kept his mental health struggles hidden from them. He died by suicide on Christmas Eve.
It's a little bit bittersweet, so it's amazing that the house has been done, but it's also sad that Sean isn't here to see it.
For workers, many who knew Sean, this wasn't just a project, it was personal.
It's a hard thing to understand if you've never done it.
A band of builders showing when a family falls, a community can help lift them back up. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
What an amazing group of people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love Toby's bedroom.
Yeah,
it's
it's
such a cool
awesome.
design.
Thanks for watching, everybody. More news at 4 right here on KHNL.